Hello, everybody. I'm glad you're able to join us today. My name is Felika Ahastin Bryant. I'm the director of the Native American Educational and Cultural Center. I'm very pleased to have Dr. Pam Sari from the Asian American Asian Resource and Cultural Center here joining us, as well as our special guest, Dr. Rylan Chong. We are going to have a nice conversation with Rylan to talk about his experience while here at Purdue. And before that, I'm going to just give you a quick look at our introduction and our learning goals. The point of this particular video is to explore the intersectionalities in identities and lived experience of Pacific Islander communities at Purdue University. We have 3 specific learning goals, which include: first one, understand the intersectionality of lived experience of Pacific Islander Purdue communities. 2, understand the needs and aspirations of our Pacific Islander Purdue communities. And 3, understand and find ways to support the community and issues that are currently facing, both related and unrelated to COVID-19. So to begin with, Dr. Chong, if you wouldn't mind giving us a little introduction of yourself and talk about what your current work situation is, and also where is home for you.
Perfect. Yeah, so I'm Rylan. I'm an assistant professor in the data science division at Chaminade University. It's actually a new program that we developed, or I was helping develop it during my postdoc last year. So we actually developed the first data science program in the state of Hawaii, and one of the few in the nation, and it basically includes a bachelor's, minor, certificate, and an online proficiency, all undergraduate, as part of the data science program. And then we also develop summer programs, which we just got through this past week. And it was a month long where students they perform data science activities and approaches and methods, and use tools to address particular themes. This year, the themes were COVID-19, environmental opportunities and issues. We also looked at healthcare in the Hawaii system, and also as part of our mission at Chaminade University is also to include social justice as well too. I think that's it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, so part of why we do this is we would like to also include our conversation in the Flashback Friday social media approach of the AAAARCC, and where we take alumni down the memory lane with us. So I'm wondering if we can start with that. And can you tell us a little bit of your story growing up? Where did you spend your K-12 education, and how that looked like for you in your memory?
Thank you, Pam. So I was born on the island of Maui in Hawaii. Most of my life in my youth was primarily soccer, and the other part was a lot of volunteer work, from cleanup beaches to working at the hospital and other health facilities. And in high school, I attended Maui High School, and then I went off to college after.
And after that, how did you choose Purdue? What was that journey look like in deciding where to go after?
Yeah, sure. So I attended Chaminade University of Honolulu for my undergraduate. On my last year at Chaminade, I had the opportunity to attend the SACNIS conference, where I met Felika, Dr. Berkheimer, and Dr. Falkowski. We really kicked it off really great there, and they invited me to visit Purdue University, where I got to meet got to see the campus, or do a campus tour. Got to meet the faculty, meet the directors and the members of Sloan. I also got to meet the Sloan scholars, and because of this opportunity to be able to, or this opportunity to meet the Sloan group, this helped on my decision for my next chapter in my life after Chaminade University, in which I chose Purdue University to pursue my master's and PhD in information security.
And just a point of clarification for our audience, Rylan was referring to the Sloan program. We do have the Sloan Indigenous Graduate Partnership Program here at Purdue University. This is a program specifically designed for Native American, Alaska Native, Native Hawaiian students who are pursuing a master's or a PhD in a STEM discipline. and we're very honored to have this program here at Purdue. We're part of a national organization, which includes Purdue University, University of Alaska, both their Anchorage and Fairbanks campus, University of Arizona, Montana State, Montana Tech, University of Montana, and we received our grant was renewed this for the 2020 year, and this at that point we added on the SUNY, the State University of New York, which includes their environmental and forestry program, and then also the University of North Carolina, Asheville. So our program has been growing, and Rylan was one of our Sloan scholars, and we, as part of our visit, we would actively recruit students to come to Purdue, and he took part in one of our visitation programs that we would typically host in the spring semester. We would bring prospective students to visit Purdue, and they would get a chance to meet with our faculty, staff, and our students, and just to give them a better idea of what's here at Purdue, because Rylan coming from Hawaii, coming to Indiana, it was a big adjustment. But then again, some students have never even left the state of their home state. So for them this far to make that decision is really important for us to get them here to find out what community we have here and see how they would be able to adjust. And I think Rylan, if you wouldn't mind telling the story about your first winter, because I always enjoyed that story.
Yeah, my first winter. So I did bring warm clothes, but my ideas of warm clothes was a pretty thin jacket, and I still had my slippers, and it was rolling around November, and it was kind of funny because some of the Sloan scholars were telling me that I should get warmer items, and I'm like, no, this is pretty warm. I mean, like in Hawaii, I would be sweating in this, but it was, yeah, I have to admit, it was pretty cold that winter, and I had to upgrade to a tri-weather jacket. I finally learned about I actually bought mountain boots instead, which was kind of like cold weather boots. Yeah, I had to get some cold weather, I guess snow, they had snow pants and just to work just to stay warm, and a lot of beanies as well too, and gloves. So yeah.
And just to also add on, once we had Rylan come as one of our first Native Hawaiian students, he was served as an excellent mentor for the next crop of Native Hawaiian students. I think you had taken some students shopping at one point to make sure they had enough warm weather clothes. So I'm glad to see that, you know, Rylan's considered one of our elders at this point, so he was able to take on the elder task and to help groom our next group of Native students. So my next question for you, Rylan, can you tell us a little bit about your time here at Purdue and what it was like in terms of academic activities and extracurricular and social life?
Yeah, so I have to admit, Purdue was pretty challenging, and the speed was, it was pretty fast. And but at the same time, I think over time I was able to adapt. I would say the first year was the most difficult year, just to kind of explore the unknowns and see what my limitations are and really get out of my comfort zone. But I was actively involved in a lot of teaching and doing so TAs, or the other options I were able to do was to do research as well too, so GA work, or sorry, RA work. And so those were some of the activities. And then for fun, to kind of relax, I got to experience my first like college football game, Purdue University football game. I believe my first one was against Wisconsin University, and that was a really fun time. And I got to do some basketball games and check out other extracurricular, other sporting events that I was kind of interested in. And then also, it's a college campus, so I was able to learn a lot about Lafayette, West Lafayette, and explore the areas around. And then having the Sloan group really helped me, have like a group of friends to hang out with, learn from, and explore different places. Do breakfast over the weekends, maybe dinners at times, and hang out at night, just relax and enjoy the time. So yeah, it was a really fun experience overall. And there were some challenges. I have to admit, the challenges was in the first year. A lot of things that I think as a shocker kind of thing is that I'm supposed to know X, Y, and Z, and and I thought I I knew a lot of things and I learned a lot about myself. So it was a learning process, and eventually I got to adapt and succeed in everything from completing a lot of projects to be able to do a lot, work with government agencies, and you know, and be able to graduate Purdue University. And I can proudly, and I'm really, you know, excited and happy to be able to graduate from Purdue University with my PhD.
Yeah, and what informed your research interests at that time? I understand part of it was cybersecurity, but can you tell us about at that time, what was your research on and what informed that decision to look at that particular?
Yeah. So I'll talk about my master's year first, and then I'll go into my PhD, which kind of relates to what I'm doing right now. So my master's, I went into biometrics because I was really interested from that standpoint. And biometrics is basically basically using your human body as an authentication, or instead of using a password, you use your eye to verify who you are, or your fingerprints, which we have a lot now. So I think the first year I was really interested in learning a lot about biometrics, and in hopes that one day I could take it further, which also in a way kind of relates to what I'm currently researching now at Chaminade University as my research. In my PhD, I wanted to take a different approach. I did go with a different chair who was actually still on my committee in my master's, because I really wanted to get to know her before taking her on as a PhD chair. And she came from a cybersecurity education background. And the reason why I wanted to go more this route was because my biggest goal was to head back to Chaminade University and, you know, develop either a cybersecurity program or bring back a tech program, which was really nice because when I met Dr. Helen Turner, who is the VP of Innovation Technology at Chaminade University. But at the time when I talked to her, she was the Dean of the Natural Science and Mathematics school. And so we talked, and, you know, one of the things I didn't want to go into was start another computer science program, but I wanted to kind of explore other realms. And one of the realms that after completing my PhD, I was really interested in data science, because that's where our tech field is heading into, where things used to be, lack of better words, manual. Now we're moving into a more automatic area. For example, take the car, for example. Well, you know, before we had to roll down the windows. Now we have buttons to press that makes it go up and down. So that's where we're heading into, at least with the cybersecurity realm. And when I was talking to her with cybersecurity, that, you know, we're looking at artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and, you know, it was really interesting because our conversation moved into that they already was starting a data science program. We just need to complete it. And so as part of my PhD, and I think how it relates, or not think, but how it relates to what I'm doing right now, is that it helped me understand how to teach, how to develop a program, how to understand the student's perspective, but also maintain the tech and everything I've learned in cybersecurity, and to incorporate it within this new program. And also everything I've got trained to do and learned to do, it helped on the grants I'm applying for. And also I want to also reflect back my master's thesis, which is, I took a component of it, which was an adoption model that I was investigating with biometrics, which was investigating how pharmaceuticals were adopting particular authentication systems, and biometrics was part of it. And so that relates to my research right now, which I'm looking at the Hawaii healthcare system and looking at digital divides in regards to how they adopt particular practices and technologies in their health clinic centers and organizations. And so everything is all coming together and kind of tying together. So that's some of the pursuits and how I chose my research and where I went with my research and what I'm doing right now. And to also, you know, I think the PhD has been such a great experience for me. It really taught me a lot about myself and what I really want to achieve for Hawaii, for Shamana, for my programs, and also for the students as well too.
Right. I think that is very inspirational in terms of how you are very clear in what you want to give back in a sense, and apply in your community. I think that's, to me, I find it very inspirational.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rylan. So the next question I have for you, if you want to talk about your favorite memories at Purdue.
Yeah, I think my favorite memory would have to be, being part of the Native American Center, and being part of the Sloan group, and just having that nice cohort, or what we say here in Hawaii, a nice ohana, where we got to, another Hawaiian word, hui, which means to get together, and we have this nice bond, and we talk about things, and I'm going to throw in more Hawaiian words. For example, molelos. In Hawaii, we like to use storytelling, and we tell stories in this group, and share experiences, what we went through in regards to what we experienced during our everyday lives, to what we had fun, and share activities that we're planning to do, and also it's just, I think it's a form of that ohana, that really nice feeling of, even though we're away from home, but we have people who care for us, who really wants us to succeed, and that goes from the scholars of the students, to the staff, to the directors, and even the faculty that were also involved with our Sloan Scholar group. And then the last, one of the really important ideas we also use here in Hawaii, another Hawaiian word is called mana'o, which is allowing us to share our thoughts and ideas. And I thought that was that's all part of this caring aspect, that ohana aspect that this center really provided, at least for me, and my success of being able to grow. And I think it's not a really specific memory per se, but I think it embodies like what I enjoyed about being at Purdue, and what really helped me get from point A all the way to point Z, where I needed to graduate. Yeah, thank you.
That's beautiful.
And I would also, I'm sorry, real quick. I would also add that when Rylan came to Purdue for the first time, he brought his parents with him. And I remember, I wasn't there, but Deb was here when you brought them to the center. And Deb was, after your parents had came, and she said, Mama and Daddy Chong were saying, "You're going to take care of my son, aren't you?" And she, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We will take care of them. And I think that just kind of shows how we have that responsibility that's gifted to us when we have students that come. They bring their parents, they bring their families, and yeah, it's such a wonderful feeling. So I do appreciate all those nice comments. And Rylan was such an integral part of our Native community while we were here. He really helped to not only help us to mentor the new students that were coming in, but served as a valuable resource for our Native Hawaiian population. Because at one point we had one of our largest cohort. We had 3 Native Hawaiians in our Sloan, which is huge. And to know that when I got to travel to Hawaii back for the SACNAS conference, we all had a chance to get together. And I think that's what the ohana concept still continues to carry on when we go visit. I always want to make sure I'm connecting with alums. So I'm so grateful that we're able to have Rylan to serve in that capacity.
Thank you, Faleka.
Thank you for all these memories. And I too, Rylan, just for information, I have been benefiting a lot with God's leadership in terms of mentoring me, even as a leader at the center, and how she just takes in everybody, and mentoring in such a wholesome way, I would say. And I think that I find it important to me as well. So not only talking about identity of the center, but also who I am as a person. So I found, some of what you said really relatable in terms of my personal growth as well. So you spoke earlier about some of the challenges, especially in the first year that you were at Purdue. I'm wondering if you can recall if you had some other challenges in terms of navigating your academic or social lives at that time.
Yeah, so I'll kind of elaborate a little bit more. So I know the first year, and I always joke with the directors at Sloan and even Felica that one day I'm going to have to share this. The speed of things was much different, and I think reflecting back, I did have a turning point, and that turning point was when I met with this one individual who, told me that, because as part, like even in my undergraduate, the success I had was I was able to take any kind of classes, like anything I was interested in learning, I took it. And even though I was at the time I was a master's student, I was interested in taking particular classes to kind of brush up and really reskill and retool on particular subjects that I was kind of interested in. And this one particular individual did tell me, and it's something I didn't share with the group, but it kind of really sparked my way of how I move forward from my master's and into the PhD. And what this individual did tell me was that, why am I here? You shouldn't be in this class. You're taking another person's spot. But understandably, he is correct. But at the same time, I'm also a master's student that I needed to reskill and retool in this particular area to move forward with my research, or even to kind of explore other research topics as a master's student and be able to become proficient in the competency in that area. But, it's funny because I didn't take it, at the time, maybe I took it a little sensitive and I had to be mindful about it. But, now that I reflect on it, it's really interesting to see how I pivoted off from this situation, and I used it to my advantage. I went out and, I told myself that, push your pride on the side. You're going to have to experience vulnerability at times. And I think that time I learned how to grow a thick skin. I understand that concept now, what a thick skin really meant. I understood, you can't take things personally, and you just have to pivot. And, and how I saw it, and it did sound really negative, but in light of it, it really sparked a fire that I'm going to do my best and work harder. Maybe I was not working hard enough, but then work even harder. So I gained a lot from that experience, and it changed the way I do things, where now I ask, I didn't ask because I really want to achieve everything on my own, but sometimes you have to ask and see where it goes with it, and also achieve things on your own. And one tool that I have been using a lot, and even till now, is strategizing, who I talk to, where I go, what type of topics, and every step away, at least it gives kind of like a checklist or a criteria list on what direction I need to go. So it has been such a great opportunity, and I think that has alleviated some of the challenges that I experienced. I did hit other challenges. At one point, I was at Purdue for some time, and I hit other challenges that I'm really grateful for the Sloan Group for alleviating the issues. And if I didn't speak up, or if I didn't talk about it, it wouldn't, I would have just dug a deeper hole through the whole process. But the advisors I was set up with through Sloan, Felica did incredible things. Like, for example, and it's part of great memories, Felica, I should add to it, is, she sometimes, like, flying back home, I got stuck at the airport, where she would pick me up and she allowed me to stay over her place, and then took me to school right after. So I think the Sloan plays a very integral role into my success. They only provided this ohana, but I'm going to use another Hawaiian word that we use a lot here called kokua, meaning that they assisted and they helped where we needed help from. And I have to admit it, not only pivoting from that experience, but also, the Sloan helping through all these great challenges by providing the resources I need. They didn't fight me on it, and that's what I started to understand was that, I didn't get fought on it. Things were done with action, not just like, oh yeah, we'll think about it and we'll get to it, and never get to it, or maybe hit a dead end road. So, there were some challenges, but a lot of things were alleviated through the Sloan, being part of the Sloan Scholar Group, and also, I really learning about myself and my limitations and how much I can push. So, that's some of the challenges and solutions that I could share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I forgot about that. Rylan would text me about 11:30 p.m. to say, hey, I missed my connecting flight, pick me up. So, we had to be at the airport at 1 a.m. or something like that. Mm-hmm. It was all good. I mean, at least we made sure that he got home safely and everything. So yeah, thanks for that memory. So my next question for you is really going to talk about intersectionality of identities. Okay. And, I mean, you can talk about your own, but now that you are in an academic role, you're the professor, you have students that you're helping to mentor. So kind of, if you want to do a blend of both of those type of roles that you play, if you could talk about your intersectionality of identities. Yeah.
So I'll start with talking about my experience at Purdue and then my experience at Chaminade University of Honolulu. So at Purdue, I think, I didn't quite understand that term at the time. And, the more I realized and the more and when I got to the PhD, I really appreciated some of the ideas and understandings, and it's interesting because I have to admit I did change. It's hard to reflect on myself fully. It's really hard to really state to the extent of the change, but I can share that, you adapt to what I call a social environment where you have a social system, which is Purdue. And, as part of the challenges, I think that's maybe one of the challenges I had was trying to adapt. And I brought up speed, and that's something I had to adapt to. And as part of the identity aspect of it, I don't think I lost a lot of it. I think I did turn more into the Purdue kind of person. It's hard to kind of describe it, but it's, and what I mean by Purdue person is like someone who is hungry for research, someone who is hungry to learn. If I wanted to get more resources, you just go out and try so in essence, I guess I turned from more introvert to a more extrovert. So I think that stance of identity has changed. I don't think I lost who I was through the process. I didn't have anybody to tell me to be somebody that I didn't want to be. Yeah, I didn't have anybody. I have to admit, I have not had anyone to tell me, you can't speak the certain way. I mean, I think some faculty would joke with me because when I go home, we have a language which is a blend of Hawaiian and all the different types of languages like the Asian Pacific and anyone from other countries as well too. So we call it Pidgin, and so it's like a blend of different languages. And sometimes, yeah, I have to admit, I will go back home and then come back to Purdue, and people just like look at me like, "What are you talking about?" So like, for example, I would say like, "Oh, this food is really ono," but in ono in Hawaii, it means like really delicious. So instead of saying, "Oh, this food is really delicious," I would just go into my mode of like, "Oh, this food is ono," or and I'll start talking the Pidgin language. And but the people around me, and I think that's as part of understanding who I am and how I strategize, was that I built the ohana and around, the people around me as an ohana, like starting with the NAECC and the Sloan Scholar Group, that was, as part of my ohana. And then I incorporated people that had similar ideas, similar feelings and thoughts, the way I value things, and it kept on growing and growing. And so, I think I protected myself in that essence of, having this nice group who accepted the way I talk, they accepted the way I think, accepted my, moelos and my mana'o. Um, so, you know, it's this, I think I protected myself through this whole process. So I think at that time I maintained my identity. The only thing I had to change was basically how I did my research, or how I look at things, understand some of the concepts and ideas from other philosophers and so forth. But that's at most what I changed about myself. In regards to Shamana, you know, we do have a really high Indigenous Native Hawaiian population on campus. We do have majority females on campus, and like, for example, my program is primarily females. We have a good, I believe half of them are Native Hawaiians as well too. And so, you know, with any community and with any student, I always, you know, for me, the thrill and the the fun part about being a faculty at Shamana is being able to maintain the identity, being able to maintain my identity, being able to have them maintain their identity, and to share their stories, and to share, you know, their experiences and background, their knowledge and their skills and abilities. And so, you know, that's what we really encourage, especially in our data science program, is what we encourage. But also, you know, with data and with this whole new program too, and this new area, we have to be mindful and respect others to the fullest extent. And respect, you know, it's really hard to define. I couldn't define it appropriately, and I probably can't at this point. But being able to just be mindful and understanding what and where, you know, or who the people and the students and everyone around you are, and, you know, and then just have to be sensitive as much as you can. And so, you know, that's as part of the identity I wanted to maintain, but also be respectful in holding that respect to others around them. And, you know, it's hard because everybody comes from all different types of environments or social environments, and they come from different backgrounds. And so, you know, educating and building the awareness, and, you know, asking questions about it. And sometimes, you know, we don't have the answers to it because it's such a deep and rich topic that sometimes we're just not qualified. I mean, to some extent qualified to talk upon it, and we'll have to bring in someone who is. And, you know, so it's a very interesting conversation, and that includes maintaining culture. And we have a lot of conversations at Shaman about, you know, how do you maintain culture? What is respect? What is those boundaries? Well, how do we define it? Or even, are we respecting the respect of the boundaries? I mean, it's like really fascinating. So yeah, it's an interesting area. And you know, we always encourage to maintain your identity, maintain your culture, and to, you know, use it as your center, your focus area, and then build upon it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you for that answer. What are some of the things that you would like Purdue communities to understand about Native Hawaiian communities, and especially also if you can talk about some of the intersections with Asian and Asian American communities? What are some of the things you want all of us to know?
Yeah, so you know, Hawaii is so diverse, and there's a lot of you know, there's some folks who come from all different types of environments, and so one thing I would like to share too is, you know, one is, you know, keep moving forward with this ohana idea, or this family building culture idea, seeing everyone as equitable, seeing everyone as a person, and that, you know, if you keep on building and, you know, providing this nice environment, you know, it's not only just for Native Hawaiians, but, you know, all of Pacific Islands, and, you know, a lot of folks can really achieve wherever their goals and aspirations would be. So that's something I would share with the community, and also, you know, provide what I would like to revisit is the term kokua, to help and assist wherever you can. You may not have all the answers or you may not be able to, or you may not know everyone that you would need to network or share the resources for a student. But just help wherever you can, wherever you can, and the best you can. So that's something I would like to share with the Purdue community.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rylan, for answering the question. So we're winding down to our last question here, and it's really focused on what are the current issues your community is facing. I know you spoke about some of them earlier, and if you could also talk about your personal and professional aspirations and how they relate to the current needs.
Okay. So I'll start with the first one. I think so COVID-19 did really take a hit on not just our school, but I think all of Hawaii. And one of the things that kind of opened up our eyes and to appreciate is being able to kukua where we kukua as in Chaminade can kukua wherever we can. Starting with our data science summer program that we did, and also what we were kind of learning throughout the semester as well too. So one of the things of going all online is that not everyone has the best internet. Not everyone, and I have to admit, myself, the internet is good now because everybody's at work. But at the time when everybody's at home, my internet was fluctuating. I couldn't even and I did have to upgrade my internet, and it still wasn't meeting up to its standard to do online. And so not everyone has the best internet, not everyone has the best computer. And so, one of the ways we kukua was basically, for our summer program, we were able to give all our students a computer, so they have a working computer to do our work. And that's something we kind of picked up in the semester, even when we started doing our first semester of our data science program was, yes, this whole program, you need a computer. You need good internet. You need you need certain technologies, but we recognize not everyone has that opportunity to get those type of things, and so we have to be very mindful of that. And especially when COVID-19 hit and we went all online, we had to think of all the different scenarios. What kind of opportunities what kind of tech that we can do. And we also, as part, not only sharing tech, we also took care of our students as the best we could. What was the question on the aspirations?
Yeah, I think part of it, you answered some of them through your direct involvement and right, in terms of connecting data science camp and providing students with the technology that they actually need in order to carry out the program. I think speaks, answers that question.
Yeah, and that's the beauty, and that's why Chaminade has been really high on my list, like even after Purdue too. As my next chapter was to come back to Chaminade, because as a student there, I got really spoiled. They cared for my success. They, if I was feeling down, they wanted to know why and how they can fix it so we can get up and running. And and that's what I really like about this whole community at Chaminade. It goes from our administration, who President Dr. Lynn Babiton, who really cares about the administration, really cares about the faculty, and it trickles all the way down to the administration, to the faculty. I mean, the faculty works like overtime. They're not only doing their research and writing grants, but they're there taking students out to lunch, making sure everyone is happy, and making sure other faculty members are happy. It's a really nice atmosphere. And then it goes down, so from the administration to the faculty, and then it reflects down to the students. The students, they want to work hard for us. They want to show what they got, and it just it has this nice little cycle thing going around, and also this really beautiful social environment that is happening here at Chaminade. So yeah, it's really a humbling, and I'm really blessed to be back at Chaminade University and being able to start a new program and also grow as a junior faculty there to learn under the guidance of really great great people like Dr. Helen Turner. I have other senior faculty that are helping me grow my research and grow and teaching me the ins and outs on how to run a program, the ins and outs on how to advise, the ins and outs. I mean, it's a lot of not, well, I shouldn't say not, but they're giving me a lot of how things, like how to do this, how to do that, and it allows me to kind of see not only from my perspective but from their perspective. So there's a lot of cool things happening here at Chaminade, and I'm really enjoying it.
Right. So the circle of giving just continues from what I hear from you.
And I would also like to just put a note out there that we, Purdue University, with the Sloan Indigenous Graduate Partnership Program, we've had a tremendously successful program with Chaminade University there in Honolulu. And we have had some phenomenal people that we worked with. They have been very receptive when we've done visits to the university. We were openly welcomed by, I think, Ms. Patty Robinson, who's no longer working there. She was in the provost's office. Dr. Janet Davidson has been wonderful. The two wonderful faculty, Christy and
Jolene,
yeah, they're wonderful. And so that's reflected in how we've been able to recruit students. Rylan was one of our first students that we actively recruited from Chaminade, and he really set the bar high for everybody because, again, coming with that energy from Chaminade and bringing that here and now being back home, I think that was very important for him as well as other Chaminade alums. Kanoi is another very wonderful Risa. So we've had really good, a really good bridge between our university and with Chaminade. So we look forward to continuing to foster that relationship. And we've continuously worked to bring in students for the summer research program, research opportunity program. And that's how we've had a couple of students who've come and visited Purdue and had a chance to learn what the university is like and get a sample. And in some cases, we've had students who have actively stayed here as part of the graduate program. And in other areas, they have been, they have decided to, at least they have that under their belt, that they've done research at Purdue University. And so that's always very exciting. Sorry, I have my little friend here, my little tails here. But yes, I just wanted to make sure to add that in there. This is Margaret, you can't see, sorry, Margaret.
Hello. Thank you so much, Dr. Chong, for your time. Generous answers and examples and aspirations that you have given us through this time. I wish you the best with your career. And with that circle of giving, I will definitely learn that, from our interview, and hope to apply that in my leadership and also my everyday life.
Thanks, ma'am. Thanks, Monica.
Yeah, definitely. We're very excited to continue to have Rylan there as one of our collaborators now. So he is actively recruiting our next group of students that would be coming from Chaminade to Purdue. So we're looking forward to continue that partnership, and always very hospitable when we're headed out to visit. And we look forward to continuing to work with you. And it really warms my heart to hear the interview and how you've now found yourself in the role of being a mentor and advisor, and you're helping to take on that responsibility. So thank you. It's good to see you grow. So I'm very proud of you, Rylan.
Thanks, Felica.
Very proud of you. Have a great day today with the rest of your work. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yes, mahalo.
Mahalo.